close are you to getting to where you want to be physically to get ready for the season?
I feel like I'm already there. Honestly, I think I was blessed to have Camelback Ranch open for the most part, and so I got great work with Brownie and our training staff up there. So I feel pretty good where I'm at right now. Just trying to keep and get to the season.
Were you able to work out with any of your teammates? I know, obviously, social distancing style, but were you able to do any of that?
Yeah, I was with down in AZ. We had very few small groups. I was with TK, Muncie, and BD every day. And a little different working out with a mask. It's definitely harder. It's harder to breathe while you're working out, but no, it was good, and it was cool that we were open and we got some good work in.
Apart from being difficult to breathe with the mask on, what other adjustments have you had to make, and how are you adjusting to this new normal?
I mean, in baseball or outside of baseball?
In baseball in particular.
I mean, I think I don't really, there's no difference for me right now. I feel like, we're scrimmaging right now at the time we're going to scrimmage, and it's weird with zero noise, during the game, and you hear yourself like talk to whether it's Jock or Mookie, and I feel like everyone can hear us talking. But as of now, I guess it's a little different. You got your own cooler. You got no one next to you in your lockers. There's pros and cons. But we've been smooth over here, so it hasn't been too bad.
What was it like for you in this COVID period, waiting to see if you guys were going to play or not going to play? What does that do to you as a player mentally?
It was tough. It was really frustrating. Because it's so hard to stay mentally prepared every day, and then you're getting notifications where it's like, oh, there might not be a season, and you still work out that day, and it's like, oh, why am I? It's hard to just stay focused every day, but I think everyone's so glad that we came to a conclusion, and I'm ready to get going. But yeah, it's definitely tough to work out every single day, not knowing what's next.
Finally, for me, Belly, is this such a weird time for you coming off of an MVP season to try to even remotely repeat a performance like that when it's not apples to apples?
Definitely. I think it's weird for everyone. It was kind of, I think for me it was obviously the longest off season I ever had, and I really got to have extra time to work on, my swing, and because it's still developing, and I feel really good, and it could be a blessing in the long run. But it's gonna be so weird this year. It's gonna be fun. Could be once in a lifetime, thing. So I think we just gotta take it and run with it and roll with it, and just take advantage of what we got.
Next question is from Dave Bassett. Go ahead, Dave.
Boo.
What happened to your hair? There's no bounce in your hair anymore.
Quarantine got me. I still haven't got a haircut. I've been trimming my hair myself, but I'm letting it flow this year.
Cody, a lot of people are debating how many home runs will lead the National League this year in 60 games. What do you think that number is?
I actually saw Alex Wood tweet out 17, and 17 in 60 games is, I think that's a lot, but I think that it's possible. I would say I'll go with him. I'm going to say, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm going to go 17.
You think you could get 17 and 60?
That would be crazy. We'll see. I hope I'm not guy, but we'll see.
I was curious your thoughts on the schedule this year, playing the AL West, your first road trips to Houston. I know the fans were excited about seeing that, even though they can't be there. You think the team is as excited to get a shot at them a couple of times this year?
Yeah, I would just say that we're just excited to play. It's going to be interesting with just the AL West and the NL West. But like I said, it's going to be the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that this year it's just so unique. So I'm looking forward to it, playing in front of no fans in a real major league game. It's going to be crazy. So I'm excited to get it rolling.
Nothing extra, though, seeing those guys?
No, I don't think so. I think I think it feels so long ago. So I'm just ready to, for me personally, I'm ready to just go on in 2020 and continue to just play baseball with the guys in this clubhouse. It doesn't, matter who we're facing.
Thank you.
Next question is from Ken Gurnick. Go ahead, Ken.
Cody, did you have any concerns about playing?
No, I didn't. Like health reasons? No.
For health reasons.
Yeah, no.
Next question is from Jorge Castillo. Go ahead, Jorge.
Hey, Cody, you mentioned you were working on your swing there. What exactly were you working on? I mean, you had a pretty good year last year.
Yeah, I did. I'm not making any type of big adjustment, but there's always like small things in your swing that like you realize like what makes you good, and you just try to be as consistent with those as you can. And I just had extra time to work on it in a stress-free environment. So nothing major at all. It's just like the minor things that I think about throughout the year, but just fine-tuning those things.
Is it also just like getting back to where you were those first 2 months? I know it's hard to sustain that kind of production, but if you do it this year, you'll probably win MVP again. So is it about doing that again?
Yeah, I mean, that would be cool. But the other thing is like figuring out why I was so good, and then, remembering the feeling, but also like not getting too caught up on last year. Like, I'm not going to try to be, identical to where I was last year just because of that. It's just because you're always growing and you're always evolving. So I'm just, I feel really good at where I'm at this year.
And lastly, just like, how would you compare, I know besides the obvious, the noise and all that and playing your own teammates, like how do you compare these inter-squad games to regular sort of spring training games? Can you kind of get the same stuff out of it?
Yeah, I think you can. I think, honestly, the only difference is that we're playing at night. Obviously, there's no fans. Obviously, you're facing your own pitchers. But I think, like, the work, like, in your swing, it's the same because you're still getting ready. We have 2 weeks to get ready for the season. And in spring, you have a little more time. But at that time, for position players, you are ready by the time spring ends, usually. So, yeah, we're just, it's about the same, I feel like, the same work ethic.
Next question is from JP. Go ahead, JP.
Hey, Cody, I remember back in May, you were talking on Joe and Oral's podcast. You were in Arizona at the time, and you mentioned that you weren't in the habit of going outdoors with a mask on. Wondering when you came to California, just how much of an adjustment that's been for you to get in that habit of wearing a mask when you go out.
Yeah, so Arizona was not like that, and then it became like that for about 2 weeks before I came to LA, and so I got used to it in Arizona. It's not even a hassle for me. I mean, sometimes I forget it. I got to walk back upstairs to my place and get it, but I don't think it's a hassle to wear a mask at all, personally. If your breath stinks, it sucks. It makes you brush your teeth more.
And as far as like non-baseball skills, was Call of Duty like the biggest non-baseball skill improvement for you during this time?
Yeah, I've been playing so much Call of Duty, so much Warzone, and I play with Luxie. I still got to play like Jock Ross and all them. I play with Luxie. I'm way better than Luxie at the game. That's just a fact. And I think it's such a fun game. It's definitely something I do a lot.
Thanks, Cody.
Next question is from Beth Harris. Go ahead, Beth.
Cody, I'm wondering what your opinion is of the new batter's eye and what adjustments you've been making since you've been back at the park.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a new batter's eye, but I think they're already working on the adjustments. It was just something that we brought up to the attention to, potentially make it better. But I think we all like voice our opinion on what would be better, what would be worse about it, and I think they're already, making changes on the batter's eye. So I think that it's going to be all good.
What's your opinion? What input did you give them?
It just was a little low, and then the seats weren't blocked off. So if there were fans there, the pitcher's arm could potentially come out of those stands. But those are very minor adjustments, I feel like, and they're already working towards making it better.
Thank you.
Next question from Carrie Osborne. Go ahead, Carrie.
Cody, it seems like you're at your best when you're having fun on the field. It seems like there's going to be fewer distractions, less fans, less media around. Do you see that this season is going to be a little more fun for you personally?
I mean, I really do. It's so unique, and the way that we've been scrimmaging, we're taking it serious, but there's also, like, we're just having fun with it. It's kind of like, you know, for me, it brings me back to the times where it was like just a game, you know, and obviously it obviously means way more than that. But I think it's just so unique and, you know, potentially never happen again. So I think our mentality is just have fun with it and, you know, get your work in order for you to be ready for the opening day. I'm just ready for opening day. I think it's going to be fun. I think I'm going to still have the same adrenaline as I normally do. I think. See.
And after a season like you had last year, obviously there's hopes and expectations from the outside, but what are your own hopes and expectations for yourself?
I just want to like focus in on myself and like what I got to do in order to be good. And I'm understanding that a little more and, you know, not try to repeat last year. Like, you know, everyone says I'm just going to go out and be as consistent as I can, have fun with it and fine tune the things that I know makes me really good and remember those and continue to do that all year.
Then I have one more question from Doug Padilla. Go ahead, Doug. Go ahead, Doug.
Yeah. Hey, Cody. Obviously, there's no All-Star game this year. You've been in that game twice. How validating was it for you, especially in 2017 when you came up in April and kind of got to that game? How validating was it to be in that room with those guys?
It was so cool. I think for me personally, last year was even cooler, not because of the state or anything. It was just because I wasn't 1-18, and then you never know when you're going to get back there. So just like those 2 or 3 days that you're out there with all those dudes, and it's really special. And so I'll never take those days for granted.
How much of a bummer that it's not going to be at Dodger Stadium this year? You got to wait 2 years because you've seen how validating it is for those guys that are the home players and the cheers they get.
Yeah, it would have been special. Next year, right?
2 years, I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it would have been cool this year. I think we'd all obviously every home, you know, it'd be awesome to be in every All-Star game, but to do it in front of the home fans, there's probably nothing better than that. So we just gotta wait.
Thanks, everyone.